Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mariana Pavlovska, Chair of Department of Geography and Environmental Science. And I know a lot of you know me, but I also know that a lot of you kind of know my name and maybe kind of seen me on Zoom. But I really cherish the opportunity to greet all of you in person and meeting all the students here and also our sponsors. So welcome everyone to our annual reception and awards presentation. We are in the process of emerging from COVID-19 pandemic, and we're kind of trying to both emerge, but also to bring with us good lessons. So as a result, the format of today's reception is hybrid, right? On the one hand, we have you here in person. On the other hand, many participants are joining us via Zoom. Okay, so I think it is good. We are doing it for the first time like that. So please be patient if something doesn't work exactly like it was planned. Okay, so several items of housekeeping. So a lot of information will be posted online for Zoom participants. Amy is going to post links to URL websites that have program notes and some other important information. Okay. Now, for most of the reception, we will share slides on those monitors. So I'm hoping that you guys can see them, and also Zoom participants should be able to see them too. So the program. Sorry, Amy, could you please show us the program? So the program of the event is as follows, okay? After I finish my welcoming remarks and State of the Department address, we will honor our candidates for graduation. Then we also recognize students who received important external awards. Then we will move towards the presentation of our departmental awards, starting with Gamma Theta Epsilon Induction, moving to Ellis Hudson MAP Award, then Miriam and Sol Cohen Prize for Geographic Excellence, then Society of Women Geographers Adeline Moffat Award, Sally Clark Award, and finally, we will conclude with the presentation of Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service. Okay, so the program is going to be very long and very intense. So make sure you guys get food, and the food is excellent. So those sandwiches are really amazing. And I understand that some of you may have already eaten because it is kind of odd time, right? After lunch, but before dinner. Well, take it with you, it's boxed, okay? And then enjoy it afterwards and think about how great our department is, all right? So anyway, so now let me say thank you to very important people who made this event possible, okay? First, I would like to thank our full-time and adjunct faculty for their unending effort. Yes, teaching and mentoring our students, both online and in person, juggling all these different modes and making really a heroic effort to accommodate our students. I also would like to thank our staff for their dedication in supporting our department, also both face-to-face and online. So I'm grateful to Mimosa Frankfurt, assistant to chair, where she is, she's right there. So I'm grateful to Nguyen Nok. Is he here today? No, I don't see him, our IT administrator. Amy Ju, our CLT, she's actually online. Well, you can see her, but she's there. And well, Amy put together all online everything, all right? And also Martha Taili, our departmental secretary, who is sitting, where is she sitting? She's sitting right there. And as you know, Martha is retiring, so we will be honoring her with multiple things at the end of the ceremony, okay? I also would like to thank Ramatullah Jalo. Where is Ramatullah? Oh, she's right there. Ramatulai is our work study and our college assistant who has helped a lot with this event and many other tasks. Then, of course, I would like to say a huge thank you to administration of Hunter College, okay? Hunter College administration has supported our department in so many different ways. I'm grateful to President Raab, Provost Dent, and very much so to Dean Polsky, who is here today. And Dean Polsky also paid for the food, right? So please make sure that you have it. Welcome, Andy. Thank you so much. Also welcome to Dean Rob Cowan. Where is Rob? Okay, he's right there. He's right there. Rob also helped us in so many ways, on so many occasions, with all these nitty-gritty details of college curriculum and all this kind of stuff. So thank you, Rob, for being here with us. Then, of course, special thanks to our sponsors. So we are infinitely grateful to the Society of Women Geographers for supporting our best female graduate students with incredibly generous awards, as you will see later today. So thank you and welcome to Susan Leonard, who is the president of New York chapter of Society of Women Geographers. She's not here in person, but she should be here via Zoom, right? I don't know if she joined already, but this relationship is amazing. It's been lasting for decades, and we are incredibly grateful to Society of Women Geographers. Of course, many thanks to Miriam and late Sol Cohn for supporting year after year our most ambitious student researchers with prizes that matter a lot for their success. They obviously can't be here today, but in spirit, we are very, very grateful. Also, many thanks to Ellis Hudson of New York Map Society, and New York Map Society itself is sponsor of the Best Student Map Award for the 4th year now. You guys maybe didn't notice, but we have a map exhibit right there in the annex of this space, and there are static maps and also interactive digital maps are being exhibited on that monitor over there. All right, if you have a second, at the end of the presentation of the ceremony, please go check them out. All right. So we are grateful to Steve Hannon, who is the president of New York Map Society, Laura Ten Eyck, its vice president, and its secretary, Andrew Cappuccinos, who is with us here today. Andrew is right there, so please greet Andrew. Okay. So deep gratitude and welcome to our generous sponsor of Oak Tree Award, who is Jack Eichenbaum, right there, Jack. Okay. Okay. Unfortunately, this year, this award will not be presented, but it has been and will be in the future. And we just really want to appreciate Jack's generosity about that. All right. And finally, I'm also thanking Charlie Hitwall and Terhi Lendi for generously contributing to our department. I believe Charlie is with us via Zoom. He is actually in Portland, Oregon these days. I'm hoping that you all will appreciate his continued support. So now I want to thank, of course, ISET and Jonathan, Mina, and Chris. I don't know, Chris, what is your last name? Depang. Okay, Chris Depang. Thank you so much, guys, for making this hybrid format possible. And of course, thanks to all faculty participants, our advisors, and the departmental staff. That was a lot of work to put it together. And finally, thank you to the students. This is last but not the least. Thank you to all of you, undergraduate students and graduate students. You made it, right? You are concluding this semester at Hunter with so many different achievements. Hope this reception will be memorable to you. Thanks to your family and friends, and I see lots of them here for supporting you throughout. So welcome to everyone. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna say a few words about state of the department. as chair, I have to do it. I also know that I have to start talking about the weather, and I only remembered about it now. And the only thing I can think of is that it's supposed to rain today, but hopefully it's gonna rain not on us, but at some other times, right? And we all are gonna get home nice and dry in good memories about this event. Okay, so state of the department. I would like to start by sharing a personal reflection. As a professor at this department, I find our academic programs in geography, earth and environmental science, GIS, and remote sensing to be intellectually exciting and exceptionally useful for understanding how our world works. But today, our fields of inquiry are also directly relevant to the very fate of the world, both of the planet and the people. Our programs focus on vital interactions between natural and social systems. Geospatial technologies provide unique analytical tools for examining those interactions and local impacts. And it is their intersection, the synergistic power of these modes of inquiry, that is emerging as the next big thing in research, education, employment, and policy. The latest IPCC report is incredibly blunt. Climate change is a threat to human well-being and planetary health. Any further delay in concerted anticipatory global action on adaptation and mitigation will miss a brief and rapidly closing window of opportunity to secure a livable and sustainable future for all. This conclusion makes it clearer that the climate emergency poses an existential threat to life and humanity, and that it is within the next 5-10 years that crucial adjustments must be made in order for the planet and people to survive. This also means that the future is in hands of our graduates, and how well we prepare you, our students, to address the challenges of the next 5, 10, 20 years. You are our new leaders, equipped with the cutting-edge knowledge in earth and environmental science and geography. You, our students, have been taught to see it all together as connected fields of expertise that allow scientists and policymakers of the future to move forward together. This vision has become a foundation of our departmental strategic plan. Within the next 5 years, the department aspires to become a 21st century climate emergency and sustainability education hub within Hunter College, capable of providing students and the community at large with the fundamental knowledge and analytical skills necessary to respond to this unprecedented challenge. Let me emphasize again that it is this synergetic expertise within our department that makes it a unique foundation for this kind of education. Together, we can overcome climate emergency and make the sustainable future possible for us all. So, this past year has been highly successful for the department as a whole. Our students have shown an outstanding achievements that we will recognize today. This includes 2 Hunter College valedictorians. 2! This is the first time it happened in history of our department. Both of them are environmental studies majors. Also, 12 students will be graduating this year with honors. This is really amazing. I'm very, very proud of that. Our faculty have consistently demonstrated teaching excellence and mentored many high-achieving students, as we will be clear today. They also pursued path-breaking research projects. Just very briefly, Professors Wenji Niemeister and Aidey Salmoon have received highly competitive grants from NASA to study climate change. Professor Randy Rodberg receiving UNSF grant to support Asian Americans and Pacific Islander students in geoscience. Hunter College is collaborating within this grant with many institutions, including Brown University and Penn State. So Hunter College is right there, right? Then Professor Andy Riemer received the Nsf Career Grant. I don't have time to describe what it is, but it is really amazing achievement that combines research and integrated undergraduate education. And this is the first such grant in history of our department. And I don't know how many Hunter College has gotten, but it is really important milestone. Also, Professors Sean Ahern and Shipping Sun have secured a big GIS based contract with New York City, continuing this very, very important service to New York City administration. So congratulations to all of those people. Then moving forward quickly, our faculty expertise is also recognized in important ways. Speaking of Sean Ahern, last fall was 20th anniversary of the tragic events of 9/11. And if you remember, he was very, very involved into the mapping effort that was part of disaster recovery at the World Trade Center site. So that is something that is very memorable to us as a department. Our great colleague, Bill Salecki, was named one of the top 1,000 climate scientists on this planet, okay? This is not a big deal. It's not a small thing, right? Well, 1,000, but think about population and the number of scientists over there. So I think it's very, very honorable thing. And he also made one more contribution to the latest IPCC report about climate change. And Bill also testified in Congress on the topic of climate change. Professor Peter Marcatulio accepted a position in the 4th New York City panel on climate change assessment, which is a critical part of Mayor's Office of Climate Resiliency Initiatives. And Professor Salmoon served on an international committee charged with determining the parameters of the planetary boundary layer, a foundation of so much research on climate change. We also made big efforts to bring back our academic programming. If you recall, Geography Awareness Week in November was a great success. We had 2 outstanding keynote speakers, Dr. Celeste Winston, a Black geography scholar who spoke on Black Worlds of Freedom, and Dr. Charles, I want to say Hitwell, Varasmarty, a world-famous hydrologist who spoke on planetary water resources. Our student-driven Greenbelt Society also continues to engage in an amazing set of activities, including field trips to clean up beaches in New York City and explore bioswales. I did see the videos from those field trips. They're really amazing. Students also put together, once again, a creative set of presentations during Geography Awareness Week and as part of the Earth Day celebrations this spring. I would like to thank our adjunct professors Enrique Lanzoca and Ramiro Campos right here for supporting the students with their advice and kind of making their ideas and initiatives flourish. So Earth Day celebration also included an example of our synergies, right? An insightful panel on climate emergency and climate justice, in which our distinguished professors Salmoon and Salecki took part together with a colleague from Rutgers University, Kivon Rini. We also responded to war in Ukraine and put together 2 amazing panels that showcased geographic expertise, right? And what it has to say about geopolitics and contradictions of humanitarian efforts in different parts of the world. So this year also was not without losses. Henry Sirotin, one of our long-term adjuncts, passed away, and we had very moving celebration of his life and his achievements. We also mourned the passing of Saul Cohen, the world-famous political geographer and the benefactor of one of our most prestigious student awards for geographic excellence. but we have also grown. Our majors, especially in environmental studies, really expanded in their numbers. This is very encouraging. Our courses are full. And then in the fall, Charlie Watersmarty is planning to join our department, bringing his expertise to us. We are excited about it. And also we are in the process of hiring of doctoral lecturer in earth science. So in conclusion, the department is strong. We are looking forward to get busy implementing our strategic plan. In this, we hope very much for further support on the part of Hunter administration. Okay, all right. Including you, Andy, of course, but we spread the message as much as we can. So, okay, so now moving forward. So now we are moving to the next part of our program, recognizing our graduating students, and 3 faculty members are going to take charge, our advisors, Professor Ellen Fry, our undergraduate advisor, also Professor Jochen Albrecht, where is he? Oh, he's right there, our MA Geography advisor, and Professor Shona Hearn, our GIS advisor of our programs. So please, Ellen, take stand.
Hi, everybody. You can hear me okay? Yeah, Mariana, thank you for that. That was really just a brilliant summary of what's been happening and the challenges, and appreciate it. So yeah, we're going to look at, I guess we can go to the next slide, I think. Yes. So these are the graduating seniors with BAs in geography and environmental studies. So those graduating with honors are indicated with an asterisk. And I have the pleasure and honor of knowing most of these folks, maybe not every single one of them. And I also have the double honor today of introducing some of the geography majors as well as the environmental studies majors. So, and I just want to mention that I still feel the way I felt when I started here 21 years ago, which is that it's just, I love my job. And a big reason why I love my job is these guys, it's just always been that way. So it's just a great honor. So a number of students, not all of them, were able to send us information and some pictures. And so we're going to go through some slides for some of these students, and I'll mention just briefly something about them, but we will be circulating these slides, I've been told, for people to look in more detail. So next slide, thank you. So here we have Amanda Catali, a geography major and women and gender studies major, and an honors student. She's here, yep. Amanda's interested in sustainability and marginalized communities. For example, she's now working on green roofs for her independent study research and hoping in the future to work on food access for marginalized communities. Next slide. Vanessa de Ferrari, geography major. She wanted to thank her professors Tom Walter, Enrique Lance Oca, and Frank Bonaiuto for having such a great impact on her, and Tom Carboni for his fantastic geology classes. Is Tom here? I didn't see Tom. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, great. Altanai Scott James, a geography major graduating with honors. She learned about her passion here in our department, which is basically physical geography, and intends to continue and move on to studying landscape ecology. She particularly mentions her first and last teacher, the first and last teacher that she had in her coursework, which I was the first one, and Professor Riemer was the last one before she finished her coursework, as great influences on her. Next. Solani Francesca Thomas, geography major, graduating with honors. Solani thanks her family, and in particular her parents, for giving her the inspiration and courage to pursue her interests and to follow her curiosity. Next. Tyra Kelly's here today, environmental studies major. Tarek says, after taking a couple of our introductory courses, he fell in love with environmental studies, and he in particular thanks Professors Rutberg and Salmoon for the profound impact they have had on him. And he's already started heavy duty, I was just informed, starting coursework at Columbia University for an MA in teaching program. So great work, and thanks for making the time to come here. And also, next, Chloe Mueller, environmental studies major, graduating with honors. She's imminently moving on to conduct oceanography research in France on a prestigious Fulbright scholarship. And she gives a particular shout out to Professor Salmoon, who sparked her love for oceanography. Next, please. Joanna Napoleoni is here today. Environmental studies major and biology minor, and graduating with honors. Joanna wants to pursue her passions related to protecting coastal ecosystems, and she in particular wants to thank Professors Campos and Lanzaoka and the Greenbelt Society. So thanks, guys, for their help and guidance in introducing her to so many new ideas. And she also mentioned me as well. I'm working with her on her green roof capstone project. Next, please. Kira Procopio, also here today, my environmental studies major. She took a 2-year break after high school, thinking about what to pursue, and she went on to college to pursue her passion in the field of environmental science and protection. And she has been working on a prestigious Pathways internship with NOAA's Physical Sciences Lab in Colorado. And that's very, very prestigious. And, you know, that's really great opportunity, and she's doing great work. And, you know, she's figuring out where to move on from here at this point, I think. So that's Kira. So next slide, please. So now we're moving on to the two Hunter College valedictorians Mariana mentioned earlier, who are from our department. They are both also Macaulay honor students. And I will, neither one of them are here. They're both unable to attend, but they sent us recorded messages, which we'll listen to. So I'll introduce one, and then we'll hear the message, and then the next one. So the first is Ji-Sun Reiner, the double major in environmental studies and sociology. Like I said, college valedictorian, graduating with honors. Ji-Sun is interested in urban water systems and coastal oceanography, as you will hear her talk about. She was the recipient of a prestigious summer internship at the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, which is also very, very prestigious. And she worked on great work and made interesting presentations of her work after that. So Amy, I think we're ready to watch Ji-Sun's video. Yes, yes. And anyone who can identify the bird, you know, gets a special prize. Yeah. Amy, we're not hearing it.
her volume's really low. Jonathan, you're ready, right?
Hey, Amy, we're ready.
I am graduating with the class of 2022, along with all the other seniors who are probably watching this. And I'm just hopping on here to say a big congratulations to all of us. And I can't be at the ceremony in person. I'm actually in the lovely Bahamas doing some field work, which has been a really awesome experience. And I'm really thankful to the Department of Geography and Environmental Science for teaching me a lot of technical skills and skills about collaboration and just helping me build a passion for environmental science that could lead me to opportunities like this. Definitely want to say a big congrats to all of my fellow seniors for making it through this far, for getting through all of the difficult hours on GIS and MATLAB. I know it wasn't easy, and so I'm very proud of us for making it through. And I want to say a big thank you to all the professors for putting in all the time and energy into teaching us, into helping us develop our passions in the specialized fields that we're all really interested in. I myself am very interested in urban hydrology and water systems and earth systems in general, and so it's been a really enriching experience being able to choose from a multitude of classes and being able to just delve into my passions. And so I know that I'm really grateful for my 4 years at Hunter and for getting a really interesting insight into the world of urban environmentalism. I feel like that's an angle that a lot of people don't usually get to have unless you're in a big city like New York. And I'm very thankful for all of the opportunities that I could take, and I hope to stay in contact with you all, and I hope that you're having a really awesome ceremony. Yeah, let's stay in touch, and I'm gonna go for a swim. See you guys later.
So who can name the
Hi
bird? Any
everyone,
birders
my name
here?
is Jisun Reiner.
Oh. So great, yes. The next student, again, Hunter College valedictorian, Macaulay Honors student, and environmental studies, excuse me, environmental studies major graduating with honors is Margalit Shatrite Klein, who gained experience in forestry research with Professor Riemer from our department. And after graduation, will be leading a team of fellows monitoring New York City street tree health with the Forest Service and the Nature Conservancy. And after that, plans on continuing in the fields of forest ecology and agroforestry. And so now we get a video from Margalit, I hope.
Hi, my name is Margalit Shatrite Klein, and I'm graduating from Hunter College this semester with a degree in environmental studies. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience these past 4 years. So through the Department of Geography and Environmental Science, I was able to study topics ranging from climate science, earth system sciences, and marine geology to GIS, environmental ethics, and field ecology. I became particularly interested in forest and agroecology through these studies, and so for my honors thesis, I worked with my advisor, Dr. Andy Riemer, to use R to analyze data I collected at the Yale Forest in order to assess different methods of maximizing the regeneration of hardwood seedlings that were planted in agroforestry systems. And with the blessing of my PI, I hope to eventually submit the thesis for publication. So during my later semesters at Hunter, I was part of the Hunter College chapter of the ESA Seeds program, and I also worked as a tutor within this department. And to supplement my education at Hunter, I did hands-on field research and restoration work in my summer breaks and free time. I was able to work with the Yale School of the Environment to research agroforestry and forest ecology. I was part of the Doris Duke Conservation Scholars Program, where I learned about environmental justice and transdisciplinary approaches to biodiversity conservation. I worked with the University of Washington and the Tulalip tribes to research post-wildfire vegetation in the Cascade Mountains, and I specifically focused on huckleberry abundance and traditional indigenous burning practices there. I also worked with the New York Restoration Project to maintain and restore native gardens, wetlands, and forests, and with Grow NYC to educate New Yorkers on waste reduction strategies and to collect food scraps for local New York City composting. And now, after school ended, I am very excited to be the field crew supervisor for a fellowship this summer, where I'm leading a team of fellows studying New York City street tree health with the USDA Forest Service. Very exciting. And after that, I plan to continue practicing and researching forest ecology, agroforestry, and environmental justice, both through hands-on experience and later, hopefully, through grad school. And yeah, I'll always miss my time at Hunter, and I really value the support, education, and incredible connections that I made here that led me to this point. So thanks so much for listening, and congratulations to the rest of the graduates. Bye. Hi.
Well, that's an impressive group of people, I would say.
So next, Professor Albert.
Give me a second. All right. So my name is Jochen Albrecht. I am the graduate advisor. Our graduate program is small but excellent. And we have 3 students who are graduating this semester. Of course, I lost my glasses, left them at home. Realized that on my trip up here. Then had to go to Walmart to buy these and then left those over there. It's one of the hallmarks of being a professor to be forgetful. All right. So I would like to introduce 3 students. The first one is Christian Delgado. He is. Christian could not be here, but wants to point out that he, like so many of our students, is a first-generation academic in his family. And he is particularly interested in earth science. He is grateful for all the support that he got here, especially his thesis advisors, Professor Miyares and Professor Williamson. He learned a lot of methodology, including GIS, and that allowed him to now hold a GIS job. And he would like to continue working in that realm and eventually move on into a PhD program. Next one is Emily Leaves. We will hear from her about her later again, because she is also one of our outside award recipients. She is particularly interested in helping dealing with the aftermath of the Vietnam War and the bomb and mine cleaning. And so that was her thesis research, and she's going to continue that while she follows her husband to San Diego. Yes, as I said, we will see her again when we present the one of the MAP awards. And then we have, she's here? Oh, I'm sorry, then come, please come in. Bye. I didn't realize. Well, why? All right, then please finish your a few words about yourself, what you want to do.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So I am going to go to San Diego for a year, and I plan on applying to PhD programs, hopefully in New York or Los Angeles. And while I do that, I am going to work with the War Legacies Project, looking at herbicides in Cambodia and Southeast Asia more generally.
And finally, we have Camila. I believe everybody knows Camila. it's somewhat interesting that the two most outspoken, most present, most socially active graduate students are those who are from the furthest away from New York City. The other one is sitting over there. We will get to you next year when you graduate. Camila, you have really enriched the department. You are the mother of play a mother role for many of our students. And I'm really grateful for helping me and with my role as graduate advisor. And to talk more about yourself, I believe you're in the best position to do that. So please step up.
I don't have anything prepared because I didn't know he would call, but I just want to thank all my professors when I'm here. In particular, the patient, the Professor Enrique and Professor Peter had with me, with many emails and examine everything. Martha, everybody. And I'll say that that's the main thing that I got from the program. With many things that are happening right now, social health issues, I'm glad that I think that we are part of the solution. Let me put it this way. And I'm so thankful for my classmates. Whenever I saw presentations, I always thought first, I never thought about that. And second, how amazing the solutions are. My classmates are here. So I'm so thankful. And that's how I feel. I feel that we are part of the solution. So many things that are happening. And do I say about future? Yeah. Okay. I realized that I want to continue in the education like you guys, and I applied for my master's in education here in Hunter. I'm going to teach earth science for middle school. I got accepted and I'm going to start next semester. God, you guys help me. Thank you. And that's it.
It's really a pity that Andy Polsky left because Camila on her notes, which you still see up there, it's fine print, she has a lot to say, Camila is really a good representative for the discipline of geography and espousing all the things that this discipline has to contribute to society. And part of that is also the optimism that you gain from the studies here and the participation of your students, but then also how you take that in and multiply that and will do that once you are a teacher. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Johan, very much. We will send Dean Polsky our slideshow. So he's gonna study it very well. Professor Ahern, please.
Hello. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm the advisor for the Master of Geoinformatics program, and I like Johan's model where he actually has the students come up. Then I'm not responsible. Matt, Sheena, a couple of the grads here. So maybe the next slide. Okay, Gauri, she's one of our students, of course, who's finishing up, and she's interested in environmental biology and health. She says she's learned a lot in our program, and I've had her in my course and really enjoyed having her. Wish her well. She's not here, I don't believe. No, she's not here. And next, please. And Sheena is here. And I think I'm going to be saying something about her twice, but she's definitely one of our stars and somebody who, exudes energy and positive energy in a way that, wants people to learn and wants people to learn from her. And so, Sheena, could you come up and say a few words?
All right. Hi, thanks. This is unexpected. So thank you very much. I do want to say that I really appreciated being a part of this program. When I first started actually in the program, I came in with zero knowledge of geography or zero background at all in GIS, and it has really been a great experience for me. It's been 3 years of really learning a lot and just like blowing my own mind. I think I had really excellent professors throughout the entire program, and they were really here to support me. Professor Fry, who's right in front of me, I think was the first one who I took a class in statistics with him, and everything I learned in that class, I've been able to apply to so many other things. Yeah, it was an excellent class. And I've since written articles. I've since done a really excellent thesis with Sean as an advisor. I've done a lot of different kinds of things, and it's really been an excellent experience. It's really been more than I ever thought I would be able to do coming into the program. And I think that walking away, I've really gotten so much out of it, so much more than I could have imagined. So I'm really, really so happy to have been part of this program and part of this department. So thank you.
Thanks, Sheena. And I think we'll be seeing her once more today because she's getting an award. So I'm going to say some really nice things later. I'm going to save them though, because her thesis was phenomenal. Matt is here as well. And I've had Matt in a couple of my courses, and one which was impossible. I didn't actually think everybody would perform and finish all the labs, but Matt was one of the few people who did, and he did it in a way that was really impressive. And his thesis was absolutely brilliant. Anybody in this room could download an app and walk in front of any of the 1 million buildings in New York City and look at your phone. I think it works both on the Apple and the Android. And you can you can touch on a little square in front of that building and get all the building information. And then it shows a virtual map. So he's created an augmented reality application, which I'm real excited about, because what it does is it changes the game in terms of who can access geographic information. And we've talked about doing the same thing with 311 data, where you can find out, by turning and hitting a little dot in your augmented reality world, how many other people complained about the heat not being on in your building, or how many got bit by a rat, or whatever. 311 data is pretty amazing. It's kind of the pulse of the city. So I think what Matt did in his thesis was really imaginative and kind of a blueprint for the future of how the citizens of our city interact with geographic information. So Matt, could you say a few words?
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that. Yeah, I would just like to thank all of my professors, Dr. Fry, Dr. Albrecht, Sean, Dr. Swen as well, my second reader for my thesis. Just learned a ton in this program. It was a real nice kind of a beacon during the dark days of COVID to just kind of, settle in and do some good learning and really get into this material. I do also just want to thank all my fellow students, Colleen, Babash, Sheena, whoever else is here, but just really impressive classmates to work with, very inspiring. I think we just do some amazing work, and it would just kind of help me get through the program myself. And yeah, I just hope to work in GIS development, kind of on the bleeding edge of GIS and, VR, AR, digital twin kind of stuff. So appreciate everything, and I'll look forward to the next chapter. Thank you so much, Hunter College.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I'm currently working on a big proposal with Cornell University, the New School, Columbia, NYU, and Duke University. And there's 4 pieces to it. One involves heat stress on the city, one involves flooding, and one involves air pollution. And the 4th one is to create a digital twin for New York City. And I have to say that Matt has been working on that with me and wrote a good bit of the proposal. Our piece is like 8 pages out of a 40-page proposal. And so, you know, he's gone beyond what I would expect of a master's student fresh out, because he's truly exceptional. So what's next? Okay, we don't have too much information. I've had Sabine and Christopher in my classes and really enjoyed having them, but I guess they didn't send anything in at this point. I think they finish at the end of in August. So, and certificate, what do we have for certificate? Oh, okay, Radley. Is Radley here? I thought I saw Radley. No? Oh, there you are. Yes. Good work, Radley. Yeah, I had Radley in my concepts in theory and GIS, and he was a great contributor. I wish we could have done it in the classroom, because it would have been fun to be together. So we were doing it virtually, but I have a feeling Radley's going to continue and join our Master of Geoinformatics program. So that's really exciting. And Christopher, I guess he didn't send anything in. I don't know too much to say about him. Who's next on next slide? Oh, I guess that's all for now. And now we're going to have the award ceremony.
Thank you, Sean.
Ariana, can I just say one?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm Dean Rob Callan. I had to leave, unfortunately, but I just wanted to say that I read all your master's theses, and you are doing really fantastic work. Sheena's thesis on cancer in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn. It was amazing. And the work in Cambodia that you did, just fantastic work. And it's really exciting to read students' work that is really applying to the actual problems that we're facing today. So fantastic work, and thank you so much. I'm sorry I have to leave.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. And I'm really excited that you appreciate our geographic approach to things, right? Okay, thank you, Sean, for introducing our students. Now I'm going to say a few words about other students who received external awards. And first student actually is Chloe Mueller, because she not only she's graduated, but she also got that prestigious Fulbright research scholarship. And I'm just going to say a few words about her. So she's graduating with a BA in environmental studies and BA MA in economics. So she was awarded Fulbright scholarship to research the concentration, now tune in, concentration of calcium carbonate in the Rhone River Delta and its effects on alkalinity in the Mediterranean Sea, an indicator of global warming. Sounds very important, right? And this is it. So she will simultaneously study for a master's degree in oceanography at Sorbonne Université or Université Paris-Saclay. Chloe was a varsity swimmer at Hunter for 2 years. She was a member of the Thomas Hunter Honors Program and won both the Eva Kasten Grove Fellowship and the Raab Presidential Fellowship. During the past year, as she was completing a master's degree in economics, she also served as an adjunct instructor in the Department of Geography and Environmental Science. And we are so sad to see her go, because we really need instructors for weather and climate labs. And she was excellent. After her Fulbright, Chloe plans to pursue, I'm switching to French now, so if she goes to France, to pursue a PhD in marine science and conservation, and ultimately wants to apply her interdisciplinary understanding of the natural and social sciences to inform policy making in international marine affairs. And now let's hear from Chloe herself.
I, Chloe Mueller, would like to thank the Geography and Environmental Studies Department for absolutely everything. I have never been more challenged, encouraged, and motivated in my life than during my years at Hunter College. Without the support of all my professors, especially my mentor, Haide Salmoon, I do not believe I would have gotten my Fulbright grant to conduct oceanographic research in Paris next year. Salmoon inspired my love for ocean dynamics while encouraging me to think critically and dream big. I'm also honored to receive the Miriam and Saul B. Cohen Prize for Research Excellence for my honors capstone, for which Salmoon was my advisor. I'm also so grateful to have worked alongside Salmoon as one of her lab instructors for her weather and climate course this semester, which has further motivated me to pursue a PhD and eventually enjoy a career in academia. I would also like to thank Alan Fry for his support, kindness, and extensive knowledge on New York City waterways, driving my interest to work on environmental policy. I would not be who I am without this department, and for that, I'm eternally grateful.
That was so sweet. Well, also Chloe will be honored, right, later on, and this is when her mentor, Ida Salmoon, will have a chance to say something good about her. So, but now let me mention another important award recipient, and this is Malik Atajanov, right here, okay? So Malik is not graduating yet, right? And, but he's already getting those awards, right? And he is majoring in environmental studies and in Russian translation. Born and raised in Dushanbe, Tajikistan, Malik moved to the United States at age 16 without knowing any English. He currently works with researchers at Columbia University on the timing and chemical composition of mid-6th century submarine volcanic eruptions in the Tonga volcanic arc in the Pacific Ring of Fire north of New Zealand. You just imagine him being right there on the beach and this kind of stuff, right? So Malik's long-term goal is to assemble and lead collaborations between US and Tajik scientists on conserving the biodiversity of Central Asia. So the Barry Goldwater scholarships are provided to college sophomores and juniors pursuing research careers in the natural sciences, mathematics, and engineering fields. And as you can see from the slide, Malik is very grateful to Professor Ramiro Campos for his teaching and guidance. So Malik, do you want to say anything? Okay, come up here.
Sure. Marcy, for that matter. Hey, how's it going? So many amazing people tonight. I just really want to thank the Department of Geography and Environmental Studies that have provided me with such great support, and just in general, Hunter College and the Department of Scholarships and Fellowships. They've just been such a tremendous inspiration and support throughout this whole progress. Hopefully, we can make some difference in the, as you mentioned, the biodiversity of Central Asia, as I am currently working on establishing the international collaboration, and we are beginning the efforts, and hopefully the grant application process is through by next year, April, and we'll start, some developing and preservation of biodiversity there. Pretty much that. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out, and this is amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Malik. Good luck with everything, and you probably will be graduating soon, so we're going to have you at another awards reception. All right, so now I'm going to briefly mention a few more students. I don't know if they're attending today. Steven Rivera, attending? No? Okay. So he is our ES student, and he was accepted into teaching experience for undergraduate summer program for STEM majors. The program is sponsored by the Carnegie Corporation of New York, and it will be run by the American Museum of Natural History and Barnard College. Stephen will be teaching at James Baldwin High School, more or less. Okay, Gauri Anand, our MS Geoinformatics students, whom Sean mentioned in the beginning, she became a New York City Panel on Climate Change Fellow working with the Health Working Group. Peter Manos, congratulations to him. He is also one of our environmental studies majors who has been accepted into the undergraduate research opportunities in cave and karst science. abbreviation is UROC at James Madison University. It is a National Science Foundation research experience for undergraduates. And as you know, these are very competitive programs. So congratulations to all these amazing students, okay? So now we are moving on to the presentation of our departmental awards. And we are gonna start with Alice Hudson Map Award, which will be presented by Andrew Cappuccinos, Secretary of New York Map Society. What? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, my bad, I'm so sorry. Our first act, which is actually quite impressive, right? I'm sorry, Andrew. So we will get to Alice Hudson Award in a second, but we are starting with Gamma Theta Epsilon, International Geographical Honor Society induction. And so this whole procedure will be operated by our Amy Ju, Professor Ines Miyares, both remotely, and Dana Riemer, who is here in person. So please come up.
Welcome, everyone. I guess Amy needs, or someone needs to switch over to me as the person on camera. That GTU, Gamma Theta Epsilon, is an international honor society in geography, which was founded in 1928 and became a national organization in 1931. Members of GTU have met academic requirements and share a background and interest in geography. GTU chapter activities support geographic knowledge and awareness. Every year at the annual Department of Geography and Environmental Science Awards presentation, new members of Hunter College's Theta Pi chapter of GTU are inducted into membership. Today, I have the privilege of introducing the 6 newest members, bringing our chapter's total membership to 156 members. Will you please go to the main podium if in person at Hunter College, or raise your hand, a Zoom hand when I call your name so we can bring you up on the screen. Raven Sky Bryant, Radley Kenneth Ciego, Devin Espinoza, Candice Aquila Gregory, Sarah Kashani, and Laura Marie Mangla. Before proceeding with their pledge to service in Gamma Theta Epsilon, I would like to briefly tell you about its history, goals, and symbolism. And if you are here in person, I do invite you to come to the towards the podium. Okay. On May 15th, 1928, a professional fraternity under the name of Gamma Theta Epsilon was organized at Normal University under the leadership of Dr. Robert G. Buzzard. Prior to that time, it had been known as the Geography Club of Illinois State Normal University. After 3 years of successful functioning, letters were sent out to other geography clubs suggesting that a national fraternity be organized. The national organization with 4 chapters was announced on May 15th of 1931. Gamma Theta Epsilon with 10 chapters was incorporated under the laws of the state of Illinois as a professional fraternity in geography on March 5th, 1936. And in January of 1949, Gamma Theta Epsilon became an international geographical honor society. Our local chapter, Theta Pi, was founded on November 13th, 1998 by Amy Ju, a student at the time. Theta Pi began with 15 charter members, Dana Riemer being one of them, who were inducted into membership by myself, Professor Inez Miaris, and by Professor Peter Combs. We had both been inducted as graduate students at Arizona State. And I'll turn it over to Amy.
The goals of Gamma Theta Epsilon are directed towards furthering the discipline of geography, geographic excellence, and service. They are as follows. 1, to further professional interest in geography by affording a common organization for those interested in the field. 2, to strengthen student and professional training through academic experiences in addition to those of the classroom and laboratory. 3, to advance the status of geography as a cultural and practical discipline for study and investigation. 4, to encourage student research of high quality and to promote an outlet for publication. 5, to create and administer funds for furthering graduate study and/or research in the field of geography. And 6, to encourage members to apply geographic knowledge and skills in service to humankind.
Now we're going to explain the symbol of the key. The Gamma Theta Epsilon badge is a key that signifies the achievement of quality in a field of geography. The badge, it also incorporates land, water, and sky, which serve to convey the interdisciplinary nature of geography across these three spheres and anything that is connected to them. The base or body of the key is a 7-sided shield with each bevel bearing the initial of one of Earth's great land masses: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. These land masses represent the physical and environmental world, as well as the primary zones of human habitation, which we study in conjunction with the physical world. Spread across the base of the key are 5 wavy blue lines representing the 5 great oceans: the Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, the Arctic, and the Antarctic or Great Southern Ocean, that served as barriers to travel, but also represent the majority of Earth's surface and the changing relationship that humanity has shared with the hydrosphere. A white star above the waves symbolizes Polaris, the North Star, as a guide to travelers over the uncharted vastness of the world. We can even think of this white star as a constellation representing the vast celestial network of satellites that now help us navigate and measure phenomena across the globe. At the top of the key are the letters Gamma, Theta, and Epsilon, the initials of 3 Greek words: Gi for earth, Thalassa for sea, and Hypathrois for atmosphere, to serve as a reminder of the 3 environmental spheres of interest to geographers and the dynamic nature of the world geographers study. They are symbolized as brown for earth, light blue for the sea, and gold for the sunlight or sky. Gamma Theta Epsilon is an honor society in the field of geography. There are no secret signs, words, or handshakes. Gamma Theta Epsilon members wear the society's badge as a sign to the world of their interest and achievement in and their pledge in geography and in their pledge to support and promote the discipline. Now back to Amy.
Okay. Having become acquainted with the meaning of Gamma Theta Epsilon, are you willing to take the pledge of membership? If so, answer, I am.
They are.
Okay, great. Then repeat after me. We'll go with Raven first. Okay, and you're going to recite the pledge. I do hereby pledge myself to service in geography throughout my lifetime in whatever capacity I may find, and to use geography to the service of humanity.
I do hereby pledge myself to service in geography throughout my lifetime in whatever capacity I may find, and to use geography to the service of humanity.
And then now in person on Dana's end. You could recite the pledge. I'll give it in bite-sized chunks. I do hereby pledge myself.
You guys, speak into the microphone, please. Come on.
I do
hereby
hereby pledge myself
To service in geography.
to service in geography
Throughout my lifetime.
throughout my lifetime,
In whatever capacity I may find.
in whatever capacity I may find,
And to use geography.
and to use geography
To the service of humanity.
to the service of humanity.
As the founder and president of the Theta Pi chapter of Gamma Theta Epsilon, I welcome you into membership of Gamma Theta Epsilon with all of the rights and privileges which such membership entails. I hope that your years in the organization and as a friend of geography will bring you much pleasure and happiness.
Well, thank you so much, Amy, Dana, Ines, and congratulations to the students for being inducted. So now we are moving to Ellis Hudson Map Award and Andrew Cappuccinos, Secretary of New York Map Society.
That's all. Don't bother the rest of it.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, I don't want to spend a lot of time introducing myself. I'd rather talk about the winners. But first, thank you to Mariana, the faculty here, and a shout out to Jack Eichenbaum, longtime New York Map Society member. And I can attest to the fact that he's the premier tour guide of New York City. And I hope he can start those tours once again pretty soon. New York Map Society started 45 years ago at a meeting that included Alice Hudson, who was then a map curator at the New York Public Library. The society exists to encourage and promote the study, research, use, creation, preservation, and appreciation of all forms of maps, as well as the history of cartography. Our interests encompass all eras, all methodologies from antique maps to contemporary maps, digital and computer-generated maps. We have periodic lectures and field trips. Most recently, I took some folks to the Queens Museum to see two of the largest three-dimensional maps in the world, the New York City watershed and the New York City panorama. If any of you have not seen those, it's an amazing experience. I mean, these are maps that are the size of a full court basketball court in 3 dimensions, and you can walk around them. So they're pretty amazing. We have a website, NewYorkMapSociety.org. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and our past lectures are all on YouTube. In 2018, we decided to sponsor an award for both a printed and an interactive map by a Hunter College student, and we named it after Alice Hudson. And the idea for that award actually had to do with Jack Eichenbaum, because I Googled him and noted that he was sponsoring an award, and I said, wow, the Map Society should do that too. Thank you, Jack. Alice was a force and still is a force in the field of map librarianship. That's her at her exhibition, Women in Cartography, at the Boston Public Library in 2015-16. And we had a field trip. We took people to Boston to see that show. Over the course of her decades-long career, she helped guide and mentor countless scholars and colleagues. Her curatorial and collection work at the New York Public Library helped establish the library's map division as one of the premier public map collections in the world. And her research in the history of cartography, especially work in highlighting the work of women in the field of map making, continue to inform and inspire today's researchers. Alice joined the New York Public Library after graduating from Middle Tennessee
University with a BS in geography, followed by a Master of Library Science from Peabody College at Vanderbilt. She went on to have a distinguished career in library science, cartographic curation, and as an educator, just two of her many awards. The Sloan Award for Public Service, funded by the City of New York in 2001, and she was a winner of Hunter College's Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service in 1994. So she's got a real connection to Hunter College. So next, I'd like to mention the nominations for printed map. Emily Lifts, with her wonderful Revisiting the Vietnam War case study in herbicidal damage to Cambodia. She's been up here a few times. I think everybody knows who she is at this point. And her map is actually on display on one of the boards over there. It's worth looking at. It's really wonderful. Francis Cabibo also submitted 4 maps, one of the shipwrecks of Puget Sound, and 3 Hudson Valley town maps of Newburgh, Poughkeepsie, and Wappingers. So next slide. And those maps are also available on those boards. Emily Lifts is the winner of our award for Best Printed Map. Would you like to come up and say, I'd like to hear something about how you got interested in the theme of this map?
So thank you. I am honored and happy to receive the New York Map Society's Alice Hudson Award, especially for a map that took so much effort and represents an issue that I care so deeply about. So the map is part of my thesis, which is studying the effect of war and conflict in Cambodia. And while I was researching, I realized that nobody had really taken the time to map where the herbicides were used in Cambodia. But there was a historical account of herbicide use in Cambodia. So I went through and took the historical account and the historical map, and then the herbicide file from the Vietnam War and put them all together. And it took all of the skills that I learned, Python, ArcGIS, everything. So it was really difficult. And it was a real labor of love. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. In the interactive map category, we were blown away by all the submissions, by Gowry's interactive map of 311 flood calls in New York City and corresponding flooding prevention infrastructure, which actually was very close to my heart because I live in an apartment that's about 20 feet away from the original shoreline of the East River. So flooding is a personal interest. Raven Sky Bryant did an interactive map showing the confluence of New York City colleges and the New York City Housing Authority locations. So how accessible are colleges to NYCHA housing? Christian Delgado did New York City graffiti and crime mapping to see whether the graffiti had something to do with boundaries of New York gangs. Andy Migden did electric vehicle charging stations and electric vehicle registrations in the US. Predictably, California blew away every other state in terms of how many charging stations there are. It was very interesting. And of course, you've heard from Matthew Ward and his really fascinating Pluto interactive map. But we decided, it was difficult. We decided, however, on the next slide that the winner of our interactive map would be Gowry Anand.
Hi,
Gowry's
everyone. My name
And Gary's
Hi
not
everyone,
here.
my name is Gary Anand, and today I'll be showing you my map of 311
Right.
flood calls per neighborhood tabulation area and corresponding flood prevention infrastructure. So as you can see from the buttons on top of the map, the focus time period for this map is from 2010 to 2020. Currently, the map shows the flood calls per NTA for the entire decade. If you want to look at the map on a yearly basis, you can just click on the buttons above and choose which year you'd like to look at. If you wish to learn more about an NTA, you can click on a polygon to zoom to its full extent and learn more about the number of flood calls and other flood prevention infrastructure for the NTA. So if I wanted to look at, say, Douglaston Little Neck, I would just click on the polygon right here, and it would tell me the borough, the NTA name, and the number of flood calls, as well as the number of catch basins, green infrastructure projects, and wetland street trees. To talk more about the map itself, over here we have the zoom in and zoom out button with the zoom level. So if I say zoomed out, it would decrease to zoom level 13, but if I increased, it would go to zoom level 15. So it lets you know which zoom level you're at. If you want to look at the map on the full screen, you can just click here and it'll bring you to full screen. To escape, just press the escape key. If you want to go back to the default view, just click the button here and it'll bring you back to the home view. Below the home button, we have the interactive minimap, so you can also pan and zoom, and the larger map will also pan and zoom with it. Below the minimap, we have the legend. So right now, it tells you the number of 311 calls on a yearly basis. But if I wanted to look at it on a decade level, then I would just click here and it would change, and it would tell you which NTAs have the highest number of flood calls for the decade. Over here we have the coordinate bar, so it just tells you the coordinates for where your mouse location is. On the top right of the map, we have the layer control menu, so we can toggle between base maps, and we can also visualize the location of the green infrastructure projects for New York City. So say I wanted to look at all of the green infrastructure projects currently going on in the city, I would just click that and you'll be able to see marker clusters for all the points that are currently going on in the city. If we want to take a closer look at, say, the projects in Douglaston Little Neck, you can just click here and it'll automatically open up. You can click there, and if you want to learn more about an individual green infrastructure project, just click on the icon here and it'll tell you the project name, what the location is, the type, and its status and current stage. Below the layer control menu, we have the search function. So if you wanted to look at a specific NTA, say Flushing, you can just type that in and it'll bring up all the NTAs in the area with the name Flushing in it. So if I wanted to go to East Flushing, it would bring me here. Just click on here and you can see the name, again, the name, borough, and number of flood calls, and the other flood prevention infrastructure. Of course, all of this information is in this info window as well. And if you want to toggle it on and off, you can just press the X key. And for the map, just press the M key. And for the layer control, just press the L key. On the right of the map, we have the chart. So it basically aggregates all the flood calls and the other flood prevention infrastructure on the NTA, CDTA level, and the borough level. And you can also sort and filter the data, as well as download and also bring up the full-size workbook. If you wish to learn more about the map making process or have any comments or suggestions, please don't hesitate to contact me at gowri.abi.anand@gmail.com. Thank you.
So thank you, Emily and Gowrie, and hope to be here next year giving another couple of awards.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Gori, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, sorry. I wasn't sure if the I'd like to thank everyone on the panel, the Geography Department, and the New York Map Society for honoring me with this award. Particularly, I'd like to thank Dr. Swen, who helped me with the technical skills and the code for creating the map, and Dr. Marco-Tullio, who helped with the topic and research. I'm looking forward to using these skills I've learned over the semester to further my professional career, as well as further develop my thesis project concerning New York City's heat and flooding issues and the communities that they disproportionately affect. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'm kind of realizing that we haven't announced the amount. Can we do that? Okay, so each award is $500. So thank you, New York Map Society, and congratulations to Gori and Emily. Fantastic. Okay, so now we are moving on to the next award, which is Miriam and Sol Cohen Prizes for Geographic Excellence. And I'm asking Professors Ines Miyares and Randy Radberg, I'm not sure Randy is participating, to introduce the award and to announce the winners.
Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about Sol Cohen, and then I will turn it over to Randy, who will announce the winners. Sol was an incredible political geographer scholar, trained at Harvard, finished his PhD, I think, in 1955. He spent a significant portion of his career essentially building the program, the School of Geography at Clark University, then went on to being president of Queens College, and while there established Townsend Harris High School. He then, when he retired from Queens College, he came to Hunter as professor emeritus and also as a university professor. It was a rather mind-blowing thing for me to be interviewed initially by him when I was hired here, because he had been the president of the American Association of Geographers the year I joined as a second-year master's student. But he was an incredible scholar and remained active with the department until he became a full-time New York State regent up in Albany, a position he held until his very recent death. And a number of years ago, he and his wife endowed an award for geographic excellence, research in one of the fields of geography where we are evaluating work that is above and beyond, that is truly excellent publication quality work at the undergraduate and graduate level. And we've had a number of phenomenal papers over the years. And now I will turn it over to Professor Rutberg, who will introduce this year's winners.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to congratulate all of you on your accomplishments and on graduation. Well done. It's been a pleasure having many of you as students in my classes. Now I would like to announce that Chloe Mueller is the recipient of the Cohen Prize for Excellence in Undergraduate Research for her paper entitled A Piece of the Caribbean Sea, a look into the local ocean dynamics at the Virgin Islands Shelf Break and Trough. Well done, Chloe. I now ask that her advisor, Ade Samoun, say a few words.
Can you hear me? I unmuted myself.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Well, I will follow Randy in congratulating everybody because everybody has done a great, great job and deserve every little bit of what you students have accomplished and received. I also know many of you, and it's great to see you growing and going to a bright future. But I will turn to Chloe. It has been a pleasure and incredibly rewarding experience to work with Chloe on the project that resulted in a superb paper for which she is awarded this prize. The research focused on a part of the Caribbean Sea that I'm very interested in, and on elucidating the very small scale processes known as staircase-like structures in the water column. Chloe's analysis of data is quite detailed and thorough, which exceeded the level of many advanced undergraduates in the sciences. Chloe's honor thesis is timely and directly applicable to research in the biophysical interactions that take place in areas with vulnerable ecosystems that need to be managed in a more sustainable manner. Chloe entirely defined her questions, and with little guidance from me, she methodically proceeded to learn more about oceanographic research and that data analysis, eventually venturing into using a sophisticated eddy tracking model in an attempt to answer some of her questions. In the process of conducting her work, Chloe taught herself the basic and beyond of MATLAB, Python, and LaTeX software. She contacted scientists and program developers in other institutions whenever she needed assistance, with an initiative and independence that surpassed my expectations. Chloe is fiercely independent, very curious and thoughtful, and takes challenges with a contagious enthusiasm and has new initiatives every week. Her solid knowledge of earth science comes with keeping a humanist integral approach to research and academics in general, a combination that makes our department proud to have her as an alumna. Personally, I am delighted to welcome Chloe to a bright future as a colleague, woman scientist. Well done, Chloe, well done. Thank you.
So be back to Randy.
Thank you. I was muted. After all this time, I still forget the unmute button. I would now like to congratulate Vipash Nash on his winning the Cohen Prize for Excellence in Graduate Research for his paper entitled Current Status of Groundwater Arsenic Contamination in the Murshidabad Districts of West Bengal, India, a geospatial machine learning application and understanding for human sufferings. Well done, Vipash. I now ask that his advisor, Wenji Niemeister, say a few words.
not Wendy Meister, but Wendy said she's not able to attend and she asked me to read out a couple of lines. She's not attending over Zoom, is she? No, I guess she's not. Okay, all right. So here is what Wendy has to say. I won't be able to join in the celebration, unfortunately. Here is what I would say about Pibasha's work. Being very creative in his research, he used geospatial technology and machine learning tools to map groundwater arsenic contamination in India. He was able to integrate the geospatial knowledge he learned from our MGI, which is MS in Geoinformatics program, with his biogeochemistry training for this piece of research. His work demonstrates his creativity and also the values of our MGI program. Pivash has always been working very hard and seems to enjoy his research very much. He highly deserves this award. So I thought he was attending. He's right there. Okay, so get up. Okay. Would you like to say anything? Do you have a little word to say? Share your wisdom with us?
Thank you very much. It's my great pleasure to be here and get this honor. I thank the department for awarding me this award. I'd like to thank all of my professors, and I learned a lot over the last couple of years, especially Professor Ahern is here, Professor Albrecht, Professor Fry. I learned a lot about R, statistics, how I apply in my geology background, geochemistry, and especially my mentor, Professor Wendy Niemeister. I was lucky that I'm here because I thought I'll do my GIS course at Stony Brook University because I live next to Stony Brook University, and Stony Brook didn't admit me because of lack of my master's transcript. So still I have to submit my transcript for Hunter College, but they allowed me to attend this course. And it is within like a couple of days notice I got into this course. So I'm here. And fortunately, because of COVID, I could attend all the classes. And because I lived after roughly 2 hours drive from here. So online course makes me do all about GIS, Python and R. And I already finished 32 credits, and I'm going to submit my final thesis probably summer or maybe fall. What else? So I thank my family. They are watching me. Yeah. And I'm going to join New York City Department of Environmental Emergency Management as a GIS specialist. So I look after your emergency situations like 311 calls, flooding, heat issues, all these things. I'll be doing emergency preparedness for any emergency situations. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing. That sounds like an amazing story, right? Very good. Congratulations. Okay, now we are moving forward to awards from Society of Women Geographers. And I believe Susan Leonard, who is a president of New York chapter of Society of Women Geographers, will introduce the 2 awards, which are Adeline Moffat Graduate Fellowship, which we used to call Society of Women Geographers Fellowship, but this is the proper name. And the second award will be Sally Clark Award. So, Susan, would you join us on Zoom?
Yes, I'm on
She's right
Zoom.
there. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan.
Okay. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. I'm Susan Leonard, chair of the New York group of the Society of Women Geographers and former president of the society. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to the presentation of the winners of our Hunter College Fellowship, Adeline Moffat Fellowship, Emily Lifts and Sheena Philogene. Congratulations to you both. Allow me to give you some background. The Society of Women Geographers was founded in 1925 by 4 exceptional women from New York, Marguerite Harrison, Blair Niles, Gertrude Shelby, and Gertrude Emerson Sen, all recognized explorers who created a group to bring together women who shared ambitions and interests in exploration and achievement. No women's organization then existed. None existed until this was founded, and the Explorers Club did not go co-ed until well into the 80s. No organization then existed to share experiences, exchange knowledge derived from field work, and encourage women pursuing geographical exploration and research. In naming their organization, the Society of Women Geographers, the founders intended the word geographer in its broadest sense. In the Society's early years, there were still many unknown places and populations to be visited and studied, and Society members were in the vanguard of courageous explorers. Air transportation was just beginning when one of the first SWG members, Amelia Earhart, made her solo flight across the Atlantic. Margaret Mead pioneered much of modern anthropology. Of the Society, Mead said, "This is my gang." Mary Douglas Lakey helped discover the earliest humans at Olduvai Gorge in Africa. Alice Hudson was a member. Anastasia Von Burklaw became chair of your department. With time, as communication and transportation have made the world a smaller place and opportunities for women have expanded, there is still a place for an organization devoted to multidisciplinary intellectual exchange and support among women. Today, our 500 members are connected in ways our founders could not have imagined. Sylvia Earle, her deepness, has been exploring the depths of the oceans. Catherine Sullivan has not only walked in space, but also descended to the depths of the Marianas Trench. In 1950, the New York group promoted the idea of a fellowship in geography, and several members began contributing. In 1956, Adeline Moffat left a bequest of $125,000 to firmly establish this fellowship. Ms. Moffat was a social worker working with the underprivileged in Massachusetts and New York. She was also a painter and poet. She traveled extensively, visiting some 44 countries, which at that point was fairly rare, a fitting mentor for our New York group. Since 2000, this fellowship has been awarded to the Hunter College Department of Geography and Environmental Science. In 2010, the award was given to Molly Whitaker Webb, who later became president of SWG. Today, I am delighted to give the Society of Women Geographers Adeline Moffat Fellowship to Sheena Philogene for her use of geocomputation in a study of cancer types in Brooklyn, coordinating 50 different variables, and to Emily Lifts for her work on the effects of war on the natural environment in Cambodia. The fellowship carries with it an award of $6,000 for each of these women for continuing work. Dr. Ahern will speak about Sheena and Dr. Miaris will speak about Emily. My congratulations to both of these intrepid women.
Susan, thank you very much. So now I'm going to invite mentors of Sheena and Emily to say a couple of words about their work.
Well, congratulations, Sheena. I've had Sheena in 3 of my classes, 4 of my classes. Have I taught them any classes? And you know, you start out with your students and you get the first assignment back, you're like, wow. And it just kept happening over and over again, where she kept exceeding my expectations. And by the way, my expectations kept rising. And I think, you know, all of our cohorts know what a phenomenal researcher she is. She's an independent thinker. She takes her own initiatives. She's able to, you know, assemble the whole from many pieces that we've sort of fed her in her classes. And her thesis, I really will recommend it to every student in the master's program to read, because the clarity of it is just absolutely stunning. The way she goes through the exploratory data analysis, which I'm sure she learned with Alan, and the spatial data analysis, the correlations, the outliers. It's really a brilliant piece of work, and you know, really stunning. In fact, when she gave the presentation, there was a student, she found one particular census tract, which was an outlier. It had really high levels of cancer. And there was one of the, I don't know if it was a student who said, oh, I'm from that census tract, and my friend had leukemia, and I'm a survivor of cancer. This was like a 23 or 24-year-old. So wasn't that shocking? That was stunning, wasn't it? So her work is just, it's got clarity, it's got depth. And I already know 2 Cornell professors who want you as a PhD student. So congratulations, Sheena. I think, does she talk? Does Sheena talk? Here you go.
Thank you again, Sean. So first, I would actually first want to start with thanking my family. My sister and my mom are here today, and my dad is watching from home. So I thank them so much for being a part of this process with me. I feel like they have learned everything I've learned through this whole entire process. They have listened to everything. They have seen every draft. They have gone through the entire experience with me. And so I really appreciate them for their support. I already, I think, said most of what I would want to say. I do want to definitely highlight my colleagues, my peers in this program. They have been excellent thinkers. They've really encouraged me and pushed me to think about things differently. As I mentioned, when I started this program, I really came in blind and I didn't know what to expect. And so many people brought in so many excellent ideas and so many different approaches. And it really made me really imagine, what could I do? What could I contribute? What could I add to the entire field and to the experience. I'm actually a science librarian at Brooklyn College. And so I looked to see, what could I contribute? Like, what could I learn from this program that I could bring to the students there? What could I, like, as a student, say, hey, I'm a CUNY student too, and I want to show you, I want to really expand the world for you and with you. And now I feel like I go into so many classes and I use maps and I say, this is what you can do. This is what you can do when you're looking at more data than you think about. This is what you can do when you don't just limit yourself to articles or papers. This is what you can do when you really explore. And I've started working with colleagues. I've started collaborating, and I feel like so much has been made possible, and I'm able to add so much to the field. I'm working in health science right now, and I think that that's something I hadn't considered exploring before, but it's so impactful. It's so important. With my research, my thesis, I focused in Brooklyn, but data is available for all of New York State. So I would really love to expand my analysis and look at the entire state and find out what's happening across the state, what's happening across the country if the data is available. But I want to be able to just contribute and add more and impact people and really, like, change policy, change lives. And I think that this program has really made it possible for me. And I thank you so much. I thank the Society of Women Geographers for recognizing me. I'm so proud and honored. So thank you.
Thank you, Sheena. This is what makes our day, right? To hear stories like that. Thank you. So now Ines.
Yes.
Can Ines come? Okay, great. Thank you.
It has been such an incredible privilege to work with Emily over the last few years. I'll never forget, that when she was originally proposing her research, This was it was spring of 2020. She had this plan to go do field work in Cambodia to look, firsthand, and then COVID hit. And so she had to decide, am I going to continue with, we had many conversations about whether or not she was going to continue with this question. And to continue with this question, she had to completely rethink how she was going to go about accomplishing this. And like Sean described, Sheena's work, Emily's thesis is a phenomenal piece of work. It is, she's, it's not quite finished yet, but well, I have a draft and it is phenomenal. It is as much a contribution on the science of looking at the impacts of war on nature, as much as it is methodological, a methodological contribution, because as she briefly described the construction of the map for which she was awarded, there were no before maps of the natural landscapes of Cambodia. So she used multiple sources, historical maps, written documents to create the original base map, then used multiple data sets to look at the effects of herbicides, bombings, landmines, all of these things, these things that we focus on the impacts on people, but the natural environment is also affected significantly, which ultimately also affects the recovery of a region from a time of war. She did this while her husband was working in San Diego, and she has a young son who, those of you there in person are getting an opportunity to meet, and just has done amazing work. She is a great writer. She is a brilliant scholar and will go on to do great things, first working with the War Refugees Project, and then intending to go on for her PhD, continuing to look at this component that so few people look at, the impacts of all of these violent processes, not just on people, but also on the natural environment. And I mean, it's definitely been a privilege to work with you, Emily, and I'm so honored and so proud that you've also been awarded this fellowship. So Emily, come on up, and if you'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
So thank you. I'm sincerely honored and happy to receive the award from the Society of Women Geographers along with Sheena. And I'm very grateful to the SWG and the Hunter faculty and my advisor, Professor Miaris. I hope to use this award to continue my thesis research, as Professor Miaris said, with the War Legacies Project, looking at the environmental impacts of war on Cambodia. And also they do a lot of work with the people who are affected by herbicides in Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. Just as a personal note, when COVID hit and I had to change everything, I became very keenly aware of how sometimes society makes things a little bit harder for women, and in this case, mothers. And I spent many, many nights thinking that I had made a huge mistake continuing my classes, and I wasn't doing it enough for my classes or my son or anything else in my life. And Professor Miaris was a wonderful mentor, always encouraging, kept me going. And I'm very grateful for all of the women who came before me. Thank you.
The Sally Clark Award was established by New York by the New York group of the Society of Women Geographers in 1982. Sally Clark was born in 1883. Rather than stay at home and help care for her siblings, she started working at Woolworth's for $3.50 a week. She became a lace buyer and dress designer. Married in 1918 to James Clark, the creator of the animal exhibits at the Museum of Natural History, she went off to Africa to shoot game and became an accomplished taxidermist. At the age of 50, she turned from that to sculpture. We are happy to give this award to a young woman who will follow in the spirit of adventure, creativity, and discovery. The award of $600 goes to Rebecca John, who will use the funds to attend the Sheep is Life Festival of the Diné people, the Navajo, in New Mexico, in order to complete her research on environmental imaginaries in the fiber shed movement. Congratulations, Rebecca. Her professor, Dr. Miaris, will speak about her.
Yeah, I'm honored to also be able to speak in support and for Rebecca, who has this passion about looking at fiber sheds, looking at there's a lot of research on local food, but this new movement in local fiber and looking at both what's happening in regions such as this one with farmers who are doing essentially sheep through fiber, but also looking at the traditional. And this award will allow her to learn directly from the Navajo people in their festival. This is, the perfect timing. We just got the notification this morning that her IRB has been approved, so she now has both the finances and the college approval to go forward with this research. And I'm very proud to be a part of this project.
Thank you so much to the Society of Women Geographers, to Professor Miaris for being my thesis advisor, helping me through all those hairy aspects of the IRB application this semester, and to my mom for being here today. So my research is on the ways communities and environmental justice movements are reimagining the production of fiber for cloth and attempting to make an intervention in the global textile and apparel industry to kind of like regionalize textile and fiber production and also shape a culture that is more regenerative and rooted in the land. So like Professor Miaris mentioned, this funding will support me in attending the Sheep is Life Festival on Navajo Nation actually later this month. And also I'll have an opportunity to connect with Indigenous fiber cooperatives that are kind of sustaining Indigenous sheep herders and the remaining flocks of Navajo Churro sheep. When I began my research, I didn't realize, or I thought that I would be kind of visiting fiber farms mostly in this region in the Northeast. So I'm really grateful to SWG for allowing me to travel this far and attend this festival, which is actually being held in person for the first time in a while because of COVID. And I think it also allows me to explore a critical aspect of my research question, which is not just about looking at the aspirations of environmental justice movements, but also comparing that to traditional cultural ecologies that have been relating to the land and the earth in regenerative ways for much longer. I'm really grateful for the Sally Clark Award and also getting to learn a little bit more about Sally Clark, supporting me as a woman geographer and also kind of supporting this research, which is, I think, very much about the overlooked aspects of cloth production as a part of our social reproduction and the role of women's everyday labor in supporting and shaping alternative life-giving geographies. So thank you very much.
Wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much, Emily and Rebecca, for very, very thoughtful comments and explanations of your research and also of your efforts, right? How research gets done under difficult circumstances. So good luck. By the way, we forgot to announce that Miriam and Sol Cohen Awards are not insignificant. They are $1,000 each. So everyone is going to be very much rewarded in all these multiple ways. And now you probably think that we are done. You think probably that we have no more energy, but we are moving to the most exciting, not the most, equally exciting part of our program, which is Anastasia Von Burklaw Award. Okay. And Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service is the highest honor awarded, given by the Department for Service to the Department of Geography and Environmental Science. Dr. Anastasia Von Burklaw, born 1911, died 2004, a pioneer in the geosciences when the field was dominated by men, was the first woman to be appointed to the prestigious Kemp Fellowship in Geology at Columbia University. Von Burklaw graduated from Hunter College in 1931 with a BA degree in geology, received a MA degree in 1933 and a PhD in 1944 in geology from Columbia University. She was elected chair of the then Department of Geology and Geography at Hunter College in 1961 and served 4 consecutive 4-year terms. This is 16 years, right? Under her leadership, the department prospered and its reputation for excellence in undergraduate geoscience education grew. She was elected to the Hunter College Alumni Hall of Fame in 1973. In recognition of her years of service to the department, college, and discipline, Hunter College awarded her an honorary Doctor of Science in 1996. To mark her 50 years of service to Hunter College, the Anastasia Von Burklaw Distinguished Service Award was created in 1990. It continues to be awarded annually to a person or organization that espouses the values and goals she set for herself. The Department of Geography and Environmental Science is proud to announce that the 2022 Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service goes to Miss Martha Tylee. Our departmental secretary, Miss Tylee has worked at Hunter College since 1991, initially in human resources and then at the department since 1993. Her dedication to the department has been outstanding, and she performed her duties above and beyond her responsibility. Miss Tylee is also retiring. She is the most lasting colleague to all of us, and we are deeply grateful for her service. I was just so fascinated listening to students and their mentors that I forgot to take all those things out of my bag. Okay, so now I'm going to read out the proclamation that establishes the basis for the award. Whereas on this day, June 1st, 2022, the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College of the City of New York bestows its Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service And whereas this award may be given to an individual for exemplary service and contribution to the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College. And whereas Martha Tylee served Hunter College for 31 years and served the department for 29 years as the department's front desk secretary above and beyond her duties. And whereas Martha Tylee assisted students, faculty, staff, and the chair with unmatched dedication with all problems and tasks, while assuring that the department continues to function by processing large volumes of paperwork with unending precision and quality. And whereas Martha Tylee has prioritized her duties to the department through all life circumstances and maintained exceptionally professional ethics throughout such critical periods as disruptions of 9/11 and the COVID-19 pandemic, and when the department functioned without an assistant to chair for several months. And whereas Martha Tylee, an immigrant from Colombia, mother of 2 sons, parent-teacher organization activist, and weightlifter, has been an integral part of our department for almost 3 decades. And whereas Martha Tylee, by means of all of the above, has promoted academic excellence and furthered both undergraduate and graduate geographic education within the Department of Geography and Environmental Science at Hunter College. And then it is hereby proclaimed that the 2022 Anastasia Von Burklaw Award for Distinguished Service is bestowed on Martha Tylee, and that she is fully entitled to all honors and recognition that this award may bestow. Martha, please come up. So congratulations. So here is the proclamation. Here is the beautiful plaque, right, that Martha is gonna receive. And in addition to this plaque, we also prepared this amazing photo that Amy actually collated. So this is like a memory about our department that you hopefully will enjoy. So it's not all of it. Then we have this beautiful card that people signed for you. And if someone is here who still wants to add their signature to the card, please do so. It is right here. And in addition to that, we also have another gift, which is a gift certificate to Amazon.com in also not insignificant amount. So Martha, thank you so much. And congratulations. So right now, we are going to ask present and non-present members of the department to say a few words about Martha. So I know Dana has to go, so I'm going to start with Dana, okay, because she has to leave in a minute, and then we will continue. Okay.
I'm either too short or too tall. I can never remember this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana Riemer. I was the assistant to the chair of the department, this department from 2005 until officially February of 2020. I left right before COVID began. But I want to say that I have a memory of meeting Anastasia Von Burklaw when I was probably an undergraduate here at Hunter College. I'm an alum of this department, both as my undergraduate BA and my MA in geography. And I remember her as a lovely woman who wore long braids and was very interested in what students had to say. She made a very big impression on me. Okay. So yeah, Martha's been here at Hunter for 30 years, 3 generations, 3 decades, in fact. I don't remember a time when Martha didn't sit in the outer office on the 10th floor of the North Building. And I thought that the only way I can talk about Martha really is to talk about Martha and me and our relationship and what she did for me and what she meant to me and what she still means to me as a friend. I joined the department as an employee because after all, I was an undergrad and a graduate student and an adjunct back in May of 2005. I was recruited by then chair Charlie Heatwole and my predecessor in the job, Tony Grandy. And Tony had done 30 years in the department. He was a really tough act to follow. Tony moved up to a position as assistant to the dean at the School of Social Work and left a big hole in the department when he left. But he and Charlie saw something and talked me into taking the job. Everybody knew that Tony was what kept the department together. Everybody knew that when he left, there would be a hole. And there I was, just me, coming in to fill the job, I thought. I think at first Martha was a little bit suspicious of me. And I don't blame her. I was coming from a career in financial services in downtown Brooklyn. I had, although I'd been a student here and I knew the program, I didn't know anything else really. She did her very best to make me comfortable and to support me because the first few months were not easy. They really were not. It is going from what I call the real world or the business world into academia was a shock to my system. And I cannot tell you how many times I said to Martha, "You've got to be kidding," when she would explain some arcane or incomprehensible Hunter or CUNY policy to me. And I remember that we had a chair for 2 years, Joni Seeger. And I used to threaten to have a custom-made t-shirt for her that said, "You've got to be kidding," when I turned around and did for her what Martha had done to me, to explain what this place really is like. But what it does is it gets a hold of you. Some of you, you will find that Hunter has already sunken its talons into you and it will keep pulling you back and you will never be able to get away in a way. So here I am after, what is it now, 35 maybe years of being a student, being an employee, being an adjunct, and going through many situations and events like this evening. Okay. Martha and I became a team. We had to. I cannot tell you how important and rewarding it is to have a job that you love and a good support team. And Martha was my support team. She was my cheerleader and she was the backbone that I leaned on. Martha knows everyone. She knows how things work. She's been around long enough that she knows whom to call when you need something answered, and she knows whom, and even more importantly, she knows whom to avoid. She knows purchasing and how to make CUNY work for her side of the office. She knows the politics, the policies, the procedures that are so vital to the smooth functioning of this office. She became my eyes. She was my proofreader. She took care of me and she took care of my numbers and my charts and my budgets. And she kept me out of trouble so many times with those eyes of her. And I trusted her. implicitly. When I needed to take family care leave, it was Martha who made it possible for me to leave Hunter for 6 weeks and still function. Between Martha and my laptop, we were able to work remotely before it became popular and before it became necessary. And we kept the department on course together. I was in El Paso, Texas, 2 time zones and 2,100 miles away. She kept me posted on the important things that were going on in the office, and she made me laugh when all I wanted to do was cry and run away. Her sons, Matthew and Edward, grew up in this office. They grew up here. They went to school. They went to high school. They went to college. They went to CUNY colleges, Hunter and John Jay. And they are both fine young men that Martha and Edgar can be proud of. Martha worked with my predecessor, Tony Grandy, for 8 years before I came. And like I said, he was a hard act to follow. Like Tony's work schedule, coming in at 10 a.m. and leaving late. So Martha and I kept to that schedule. She came in the morning and I came in an hour later, and between the two of us, we kept the office open most days for 9 to 10 hours. We were partners, really partners. And we were joined by Tiffany Morrison, who is not here today. And many of you will remember Tiffany Morrison. And if you don't know, Tiffany got married about 2 weeks ago. Yes, she got married 2 weeks ago. And Martha has great pictures if you want to see a beautiful bride. We would come in the morning and we would share coffee. And the three of us would sit and talk and laugh before the day got started. Tiffany graduated from Hunter, and now she's working at Brooklyn College. Martha has spent almost 37 years at the desk in that outer office in Hunter, North 1006. With her, she takes 30 years of institutional memory, something that cannot be replicated. She has joined my friends, Tony Grandy, our friends, Tony Grandy, Charlie Heatwole, Tom Walter, and me in retirement. Now, again, this is all about me, right? This is good for me because the two of us will have more time to have lunch and talk about our children and maybe catch a matinee. And Martha, I hope that your retirement is as much fun and as rewarding as mine has been these past couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dana. I have, Ellen, I'm going to read a note from Charlie Heatwole, unless Charlie is on Zoom and wants to do it himself. No? Okay. Okay. So this is a note from Charlie. And for those of you who don't know, Charlie Heatwole was chair of our department for a very, very long time. So I believe Tony Grandy, who was an assistant to chair, was brought in by Charlie or was hired when Charlie became a chair. So probably Martha, you came on board when Charlie was a chair. Was that the case? No, Jeff Oslip. Okay, and but then shortly. So then I'm just trying to think. So we had Ellen as chair, right? We had Ines as chair, myself as chair. Huh? Oh my God. Yes, of course, Ramiro too. Okay, so at the end we should take a photo of present chairs and others maybe on Zoom. But anyway, so I just want to read a note that Charlie sent to Martha. Martha, I'm also giving you a printed copy of it. So Charlie goes, "Dear Martha, the geography of our front office is such that your desk faces the entrance.
As a result, it happened again and again. I'd get off the elevator on the 10th floor, turn left, and walk toward the end of the hallway. And there you were at your desk, greeting me with a smile. It now occurs to me that for all the years you sat at that desk, you were, so to speak, literally the face of the department. It wasn't just me, of course. Over all those years, how many visitors did you greet? How many student walk-ins did you help? How many phone inquiries did you handle? Just like people, academic departments have one chance to make a first impression. You made a good one, again and again. And when none of this was happening, you simply went about your work. Now, with all due respect to my dear friend, Professor Pavlovskaya, I know from experience that it is no big deal if the chairperson is away for a while. The same is not true of the folks in the front office. Day after day, your work and that of your colleagues was and remains indispensable to the smooth and proper functioning of the department. Yet, some things can be done remotely, but others cannot. And I must tell you this. I can recall a few gatherings at which other department chairpersons were heard to complain about their front office personnel. I can't recall the specifics, but I do remember thinking that their comments seemed rather odd. Didn't their staff members function with the same integrity and competence that I was used to? Apparently not. Sadly, I am embarrassed to say that it has taken your retirement for me to reflect on all this and realize that I took so many of your contributions for granted. So please accept a very sincere, if terribly belated, thank you in capitals for your years of dedicated service to the department. In that vein, it makes me truly happy to know that the faculty have chosen to honor you with the AVB award. Without question, you are a very worthy recipient. And now comes the really good part, a richly deserved retirement. No doubt you will look back on your years at Hunter with a certain nostalgia. On the other hand, no longer will you commute, and workplace routines dominate your waking hours. From now on, you get to decide what time you get up, what time to go to bed, and how you will spend the hours in between. Whatever you decide, please accept my sincere best wishes for many years of good health and abundant happiness for you and your family. Sincerely, Charlie Hitwall. Now, Ellen, do you want to come up?
So there are so many hard acts to follow in this department, and you know, Martha is definitely one of them. It's kind of lucky that I'm following Charlie's words, which I can't. Is another act that's impossible to follow. But there's two things he said that are like perfect with my thoughts. First of all, you know, Martha was, in terms of greeting people, Martha, you know, I will never ever forget, you were the first person I spoke to when I accepted the job, you know, and I had to call the department. I didn't live in New York City at the time, and make arrangements. And, you know, from the beginning, you were so warm and so friendly, and, you know, you just made it such a welcoming place for me. So, you know, I'm one of those people who Charlie mentioned that you greeted, and when I showed up in person, obviously, the same thing. And I will also say that during my time as chair, exactly what Charlie said. Other chairs complained to me about, office people or whatever. And I was like, we don't have that problem. And they, they wanted to poach our people. And so absolutely true. During my time as chair, as as most people know, I worked closely with Martha and Dana, of course. And you helped in so many ways to help me. When a chair comes on, they've never been chair before, you don't have a clue what's going on really. And you just were incredible support to me. And, when you told me you were retiring, I literally got those butterflies in my stomach, when you feel like, oh no, that just can't be true, no. And I can't, from day one, and I've been here 21 years, so not that long compared to some others. But from day one, you've been here, and like Charlie said, greeting with a smiling face, and you're going to be missed, and I'm going to miss you a lot.
Thank you, Ellen, so much. So now I would like to ask Tony Grandi, and also we have Vanessa after that to say a couple of words.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Tony Grandi. And yes, as Alan said, this is a tough act to follow, but it all comes to the beginning because I'm the one that hired Martha. It was at the end of a hiring freeze. And we went 2 years without a department secretary, dealing with just student assistants running the front desk. So finally, when we got permission to hire, we were only allowed to hire in-house, I believe, and not go outside. So I did a series of interviews. Jeff Osley was the chair at the time. And Martha was by far the best person that I spoke with at the time. And I guess I made a good decision. She's been around a long time, always very helpful, a wonderful person to be with. What can I say? It's just, I've never had a problem with her as opposed to other secretaries prior to her that we had in the department, not to name any names, but never anything like I had to deal with before. So it's been a wonderful stretch with her. I felt confident that when I was leaving the department to move on to the School of Social Work and was able to recruit Dana, that Martha would be kind of the glue, the linchpin that would bring everything together because she did know the department. She did know Hunter, which is very important. And Dana did know the department somewhat because being a student and being an adjunct lecturer was very good. But all in all, it's been a wonderful stretch of time. After I retired over 10 years ago, and still coming back as an adjunct, coming in twice a week, greeting Martha at the desk, it was always like old times. So I congratulate her on retirement. I hope she enjoys retirement as much as I enjoy retirement. It's wonderful. Hunterisms are hunterisms. There's no way around it. And the next person will just have to learn to live with those. So congratulations, Martha. I wish you a long and happy retirement and a lot of good memories from all the years in the past. Wish you the best.
Ines, do you want to go next?
Sure. Sorry, I'm having to get to an appointment, so I just pulled over. You know, like several people have said, Martha is one of the first people that you meet when you walk into the office. When I was first hired, I was interviewed at the San Francisco AAG meeting in 1994. And so I didn't come to the department for interviews. And so again, like, other people have said, when I first walked, my first day on the job, Martha was one of the first people I saw. The only person other than Martha who's worked there since, who was here when I was hired that's still here is Sean. So we're kind of the old ones in the department, the long running ones, not going to call us old. And, as I was telling Martha the other day, it's going to be so weird because she's been there the whole time that I've been there. And that's, that's going on. I've been here since '94, so nearly 3 decades. It's, whatever we've needed her to do, whether as faculty or during my 2 years as chair, watching our boys grow up. We were just talking the other day about our boys now being men. And I remember when Martha was still Martha Buendia. So I've known her since before she was married, and now with her 2 sons as responsible young men, it's been a lifetime, and it's been a privilege. And Martha, you are going to be missed, but you are so deserving of this award. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now I need to get back to driving.
Okay. I just want to say, like, in terms of personal connection, Martha and I were pregnant together. I remember it very well. And yes, Martha was pregnant with Edward. I was pregnant with Anya. Anya was born December 15th. Edward was born December 25th. So they kind of were born at the same time. And I remember very well, like, back then when you had a baby, it was like, I have to pretend I don't have a baby, basically, at work and everything, right? I have to kind of ignore this fact. And I also recognized very well that Martha was doing the same thing, in terms of really putting her work, her priority above, and kind of rearranging her life, like behaving as a professional person, because this is what kind of the demands of professional work often are on us. So I just want to say that we are nearing the time when we have to vacate this room, and we have a few minutes. So if somebody wants to come up here and say a few words, but also I just want to say that colleagues who would like to go with us to the department and have a little champagne toast for Martha are most welcome to go there, so we can continue informal socializing afterwards. But if somebody wants to come here and also say something official, either about Martha or as a wrap up for our awards reception, so you're most welcome to do that. Anybody? Okay, Anita, go ahead.
Hi. Hi. Well, this one's for Martha. I want to say that, like, we spoke a lot about what she meant to the department. As somebody who works here, I started here as an undergrad way too many years ago. And as a student, I can tell you that Martha also gave the most welcoming feeling. Whenever you had a question, you could walk into that office and she knew everything. So, that was one of the big reasons why I then decided to get my master's here. Again, we could always count on Martha. And now, sorry, I'm an emotional person, so I will cry. And now as an adjunct, I can't imagine the department walking in there with you not being here. And, as Ines said, the people who, when I started, they're not here anymore. A couple of them are, Sean and Inez, but it's, and you know, so many people who have retired or have passed on. I can't believe that you're not going to be there, but I know we'll be in touch, and I know that this department will remember you, and you are irreplaceable. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Jack. Oh, of course. Well, it's up to you. In Mohammed, I'm sorry. Mohammed, go ahead. And Jack. Instead both and one thing. Oh, you got this guy.
Lots before Jews, huh? Nice to see you, Mo. Yeah, you come. Oh, all right. Anyway, not all of you know me, but I'm Jack Eichenbaum. Thank you, Ramiro. I taught 16 years here as an adjunct. I taught geography of the city of New York. I had left academia, but I hadn't stopped being a geographer. And when I came here, the people and the staff were very welcoming and very helpful. I mean, I remember Tony Grande, of course, Martha, Dana Riemer, Nguyen, and of course, Amy Ju, I hope is still listening. And all these people are always there and so there for me. My career in geography goes back to 1967. That's 55 years ago when I was a graduate student at the University of Michigan. At that time in that department, there was one woman there by accident, I guess. There were no Jews, there were no Blacks, and no Latinos. There were some Asians. My first academic job after I got my PhD was at the University of Washington. Same story, no Jews, no Blacks, no people from Africa, no Latinos, nobody teaching Latin America, nobody teaching Latin America at the University of Michigan as well. When I finally came to Hunter, we had the diversity of the world. I mean, after all, New York is a place where you have so many immigrants or children of immigrants. And one of the great, wonderful feelings I had about this event was that there were so many students here, and you could see that there were immigrants or children of immigrants, and it made me feel at home. And I learned so much from the students that they were as important to me as the staff. And Martha was wonderful because, well, we had two faculty members from Latin America, but Martha was there and her presence was amazing because she always had a warm greeting for me. And I'm, like many geographers, I'm well-traveled, and my favorite continent is South America. If you've traveled in South America and you've traveled on your own rather than a group led by some leader, you find that the people are sociable. They're warm, they consider other people. I always felt at home. I speak some Spanish. And if you tried a little bit of Spanish, you got even further and you found the love, the social love of these people. And Martha took care of people. And it's just the same kind of feeling I had when I visited Colombia for a month. I had absolutely wonderful time. I think I told Martha that. And so I have such a soft spot in my heart for Latin America. And Martha has been one of the Latin Americans in this department that I really love. And thank you so much for taking care of me and all the good things you gave to this department and the warmth that you brought from a wonderful continent. And buena suerte en los años de oro. The first thing that my very response when I heard that Martha is leaving us, a tear came from my eyes. Because when I joined the department, spring 1994, as an adjunct, she was always there. And Tony behind her, and then Charlie Heatwall and Giff Osley, all of the great history and all of the great people there, Charlie, Tony, Giff, all of these, and late Saul Coyne, one of the greatest people that I have ever seen or know. And even our late
Henry, Serraton, we are all there. So the whole history comes into my mind at that time. And I can't say more than what has been said by my colleagues about Martha. All I can say, when I first came in, she's the first that you can see in the department with the biggest smile. This is why I would like to write that who's gonna give me a smile when I come into the department after Martha's leaving. Because, and the other thing is, Tony is always busy with a lot of stuff. And she is aware of all of the things. So I just ask her like that and she give me the answer like this. The other thing is, whenever there is something missing in the department, lighting, water, stationery, everything, she's on top of that all the time. She always knows what to do. She always promptly doing things. And she is just great. And this is why the long term that I have been living in the department, I'm gonna miss a great person. This is why my tears automatically came down. And I see that, and I told her that. I was joking with her. She was working with Dana, oh yeah, Dana Riemer, the great also. She was working with Dana, and I told her, Dana, Martha, she doesn't look like us anymore. My teasing, I keep teasing everyone. Said, no, she likes you, Muhammad. She likes the department of so and so. Said, why she's leaving? Said, and so Martha, thank you very much. You have been a great person. You did a great job to the department, and thank you very much. In this occasion, I would like to cheer. I would like to salute all of the people who work with Charlie Hitwall, Tony Grandi, Jeff Osley, Saul Coyne, and still my friends, my colleague Sean, and my Ines, and me, myself, and Ines became the same year, that time, and all of the other great colleagues. I cheer them all. So we hope that we will do our best to keep this department going. And thank you again, Martha, and wish you a happy, healthy, successful, and productive life.
Oh my God, I'm almost crying. Okay, well, I think it is, we can continue, right? I mean, we could have been going. I mean, I'm just, okay, you can say like 2 seconds, but let me just orient people towards what we have to do. I can see food left there. So if you didn't get your sandwich, what? No, everyone, this is what I'm saying. We have boxed lunch, amazing sandwiches. So if you haven't gotten one yet, please go get it. Now, especially students, even if you gotten one, go get another one to take it home with you, okay? So students need food, we know this very, very well. And also after Ramiro finishes, so we will continue to the department, and people who will go to the department, right? Maybe we should help Mimosa to take, some things with us so that it would be easier for them to carry it back. Okay, so Ramiro, you have like several seconds for that.
I just want to thank everyone who came here. I just want to be a little controversial and I want to challenge the department, and within the next 2 to 3 years, we have some sort of recognition of trans and queer students. I've been doing that a lot in the last 3 semesters, queer ecologies in my courses, and I get a really big response from it. And I think it's time that we have some sort of, recognition of trans and queer students in our department and on campus itself. Okay, thank you.
Ramiro, this is great. And, you know, we had requests and questions from faculty, and we did share some information about it, but I think it has to be much more clear and loud. So I'm in full support, and thank you for bringing it up. Very good. Okay. So thank you very much. Okay, please guys, get the food, get things to bring back to the department, and we will see you there for a little champagne toast. Thanks. Congratulations to everyone.